Here's every major new feature coming to the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Pro models. So let's start with the standard iPhone 16. Apple is replacing the mute switch on these models and replacing it with the action button that was found on the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max from last year. Users can now customize this button to open up the flashlight, the camera, the Translate app, or basically run any task on your iPhone if you created a custom shortcut in the Shortcuts app. Now, once iOS 18 drops, you'll also be able to use the control center toggles that developers can integrate into their apps, and so that can lead to the action button becoming a quick toggle to maybe start your car, for example, using the Ford app. Now, I've always had mine set to launch the camera app, but I guess I'll need to find something else because our next new feature, the camera control button, will handle that for me. Camera control is available across all iPhone 16 models, so the standard and the Pros, and it sits right below the power button where that millimeter wave cutout used to be. It's technically not a physical button, but a haptic button meant to mimic a physical one, but because it's haptic, it can respond to various levels of press gestures, and it can do different things based on those gestures. So one press can launch the camera app, another one immediately after will just start taking a picture, or you can press and hold firmly to record a video. Or you can press ever so gently down to bring up this clean preview UI when you're taking a photo, and then you can do it again to get a bunch of other camera tools available for you to adjust, like the depth of field, your exposure. You can even zoom in and out by simply swiping across the camera control button. Now, if you're a developer for third-party camera apps, well, you can also integrate this button into your app, and so I'm excited to see where this will all go and how useful this button will be in the future. A really cool feature called Visual Intelligence that works with this camera control button will also be coming later this year. And what it does is, let's say you're out on a stroll and you see a restaurant that you don't recognize and you want more information. Just pull out your phone, launch the camera control, and then just go ahead and hold it at the restaurant, click on it, and it'll automatically just bring up a card UI, giving you all of the information that you need about that restaurant. And the same thing goes for like a flyer that you see out on the street, or if you run into an animal that you don't know, you just point and click and it'll automatically give you that same card style UI or add all of the details to your calendar, and it can be really useful. And camera control also uses third-party tools like ChatGPT or Google Search if you want more information. Speaking of cameras, on the standard models, they've now been aligned vertically so that you can now capture spatial photos and videos for your Apple Vision Pro when you turn it horizontal. There are also some new colors this year that really pop quite nicely, like this ultramarine, teal, pink, and then of course a white and black option. The iPhone 16 is powered by the new A18 chip. It's fast, it supports hardware accelerated ray tracing for gaming, and it's well optimized and should be able to add to your overall battery life. Apple has a little comparison chart on its website, and you should be able to get apparently 2 more hours of video playback on standard 16 models compared to last year's iPhone 15. But more importantly, the A18 chip is what's going to be used to power the suite of Apple Intelligence features coming later this year. So features like Genmoji, Image Playground, and the new personal context knowing Siri, again, will all be coming to these phones at some point in an update later this fall. There are also some other minor updates to the cameras, like the ultra-wide sensor being improved in lower light. There's new photographic styles that are available, and those can be customized. You just kind of swipe around on this color pad here and adjust what you want. And you can even add or remove a photographic style after a photo has been taken. There's also a new audio mix feature for videos that lets you adjust the way voices sound in your videos using 3 different voice options. So if you want to decrease background sound or just focus on the voices that are in frame, you can do so by simply selecting the mix and adjusting intensity to get the sound you want after video has been taken. And honestly, that's really it for the standard iPhone 16 models, and a lot of the features that we talked about are on the Pro models. So for the Pro models, it's going to have everything that I just talked about: action button, camera control button, all of the camera features, photographic styles, the audio mix, all of that. And it'll obviously all have Apple Intelligence features too, but the main difference for the Pros is instead of an A18 chip, it's a slightly more powerful A18 Pro chip. And there are heavy benefits for CPU and heavy benefits for GPU, but I don't think that the average consumer really cares about this, except for maybe the battery life, that Apple claims the iPhone 16 Pro Max will have the best battery life in an iPhone ever. And this apparently translates to roughly 4 more hours of video playback compared to last year's iPhone 15 Pro Max. There is one new color option for the Pro models, and that's Desert Titanium. It's a nice subtle gold color to go along with the other colors that we had from last year, like white, black, and natural titanium. The iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max did get a little bigger in display size with these greatly reduced bezels. The iPhone 16 Pro now goes from a 6.1 to a 6.3 inch phone, and the Pro Max goes from 6.7 to 6.9. Not sure how drastic that will feel in the hand, because I think it's not just the bezels that have increased, but the size has increased a little bit, but we'll find out when we do our full review. The cameras on the Pro have been updated. There's the 48 megapixel Fusion main wide-angle lens, a new 48 megapixel ultra-wide lens, and the telephoto lens that had that 5x optical zoom from last year's 15 Pro Max. That's now included on the standard 16 Pro. With these cameras, you can now record 4K 120 frames per second video directly to your iPhone, so super slow motion. It's gonna look really cool. And you can also record in ProRes or log, but that has to be done to an external SSD for that 4K 120 frames per second. You can also adjust the frame rate of these videos from 120 all the way down to 24 frames per second inside of the Photos app. There's now 25 watts of wireless charging available on the Pro model, so you get some faster wireless charging overall. But again, that's really also it when it comes to the main exclusive features for the 16 Pro and Pro Max. So of course, I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you planning to upgrade? I don't know that anyone with an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max should be getting the 16 Pro or Pro Max, and same thing goes with the standard models. But if you got older phones, let me know in the comments which one you're planning to buy and which phone you're upgrading from. I would love to hear from you. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.